All right, how you doing, YouTube? Silver Joker here. Okay, so this is my PO box here, and as you can see, the contest for naming our channels is in full swing. You still got time to submit your entry, so just send it into my PO box, so Silver 5150's PO box. And also, I want to talk to you guys about a practice that big businesses do. It's called share buybacks, and I saw a video a couple days ago that kind of talked a little bit about that. I wasn't aware that companies even done this. So I'm not the most articulate guy when it comes to explaining this kind of stuff. We'll talk about this weekend when we do our joint podcast. But I just want to bring some things to you guys' attention. So if you're interested in any of that, stick around. All right, so I'm going to dive right into this. For me, I want to stack as much silver as I possibly can for my retirement. Now, you have your own motivations for why you stack silver, for why you collect silver, invest in silver. Mine is to prepare for my retirement, to supplement my already income, already my retirement that I'm working on right now as I'm working and putting money away and putting it into my 401k and some of the other investments that I have. That is going to pay the bills. My silver is going to be how me and my wife actually live and enjoy our retirement. Okay, so I won't go back into that. You guys already know that if you watch my videos. Okay, but one thing that I've just seen, it kind of makes me want to change maybe a little bit of that. Is there's a channel. This guy's name is Neil McCoy Ward, and I'm sure many of you have heard of him. He has a really big following, lots of subscribers, so I'm sure many of you probably saw his videos. But if you haven't, I really strongly recommend that you go check out his channel. I'll leave a link to the video that I'm going to be referencing in the description. All right, so there's this practice that big companies do, and it's called share buybacks. Now, if you don't know what share buybacks are, I'm not the most learned individual when it comes to stocks and the stock market and those kind of things, the economy and all that kind of stuff. I can't really articulate that as well as some can, but I know what it means to me, and I'm going to try to give you guys just what I think the big deal is about that. Now, when he talked about that in his video, and like I said, go watch his video and you'll get a lot more detail than what I'm going to give you, but I'm going to tell you how I think it relates to me and us as just individual silver stackers and what we should be thinking about as we go forward. What this practice is, it is a practice where companies, big companies, they get loans, low interest loans, and interest rates are very low right now. They get these low interest loans, and what they do with these loans is they buy their own shares. Now, I thought that was illegal. I didn't even know companies could do that, but apparently they can. And what I understand, it was illegal for a long time, and it's only been recently that it's been legal for them to do this. And what they do is they buy their own shares. Now you're thinking, okay, so what's the big deal? They buy their own shares. Well, imagine this. We're looking at the stock market and we're wondering, and you hear Silver 5150 say this all the time, like, how can the economy be looking so good? How can the stock market look so good? Well, this is exactly how. They buy their own shares of their company. And when they buy their shares, it inflates the shares. It makes the shares look really good, which is kind of reduces their equity. It makes their equity look real good on the books. It makes their company look real good. It looks like they're growing and growing and growing, when in actuality they're just using borrowed money to prop up their companies. Now, there's a lot more detail that goes into it than that, but that's the gist of it. They're borrowing money, buying their own shares, and when they buy their own shares, of course, the share price goes up, makes the company look like it's doing very well. And the thing is, how can that be? If you just stop and think about it for a minute, how can these companies look so good? How can they be performing so well when we know? I mean, I have neighbors, I have people that I know who are struggling financially, seriously struggling. The shops are closed, the malls are closed. I mean, the economy is suffering. So how can these companies look so good? Well, that's how. That is exactly how. And they're doing that on purpose. They're doing it, and how long can that last? How long can they continue to do this? And if you think about it, if you think about the bailouts that we've had in the past, that's what that was all about. They get the bailouts from the government. And look, the government does these bailouts, but if you really think about it, the government doesn't make any money. The government doesn't own anything. The government makes money from me and you, our taxes. Our taxes is what makes governments rich, what makes this country rich, the beautiful, prosperous country that it is. Our taxes do that, and our taxes do that because we live well. You know, we are a prosperous society. And so our prosperity goes to these companies who are making these, oh man, I can't even describe these very risky decisions when they're doing that. Because think about it, if they're propping up their company with borrowed money from the government, who is getting that money from us, the taxpayer, and we're suffering, we're losing our jobs, we're losing our income, we're losing our livelihood, what's going to happen? What is the outcome of that? Well, you know, like I said, this is what we're going to do. Me and 5150, Silver 5150, do our podcast this weekend, we're going to talk about this because he's a lot more articulate, a lot more educated, understands these things and can relate them a lot better than I can. But just from a lay person, from a person that goes to the different coin stores and a different individual who sells silver, from a lay person's point of view, that seems to be very, very, very devastating, potentially devastating for our economy. Because how long can that last? How long can this continue to go? How long can these risky endeavors that these companies are doing to make themselves look so good, how long can that last? Well, it's going to last as long as the government allows it to last. It's going to last as long as the government keeps giving this stimulus money so we can go out and buy the products that these companies produce on money. And the more money they put out, the more cash that they print and put out, the less valuable the existing cash is. So I'm telling you, if you're not buying silver right now, if you're not investing in bullion, in precious metals, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're walking on very thin ice, because this can't go on. I mean, how can it go on? There's no way this can continue. If the companies are not producing profits honestly, if all their profits are coming from borrowed money, from buying their own stocks and inflating their own bottom line, there's only so long that can go on. And so, like I said, we'll talk about it more in depth, and I'm sure Silver 5150 will be able to explain this a lot better than I can. But I came across this, and I'll leave a link, like I said, to the video of Neil McCoy Ward, and I really strongly suggest that you go and watch his video and listen to the information it puts out, and tune into our podcast this weekend. We're going to talk about this in a lot more detail. But I just only say this to say this: if you're not stacking silver, if you think the economy is going okay, if you think that there's no potential for things to go sideways, then you continue to do what you do. But if you think by just looking around and listening to what's going on and understanding that all you got to do is use your own eyes and your own ears, and understanding how devastating things can be and potentially will be, then you know that you have to do something more than just wait. You have to actively prepare for what's coming. And I think that what's coming is going to take a lot of people by surprise, but you don't have to be one of those people. Anyway, that's all I want to say for that. I don't want to make this video too long. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Let's just keep on doing what we do. Like I said, we'll talk about this a little bit more in detail on our shared podcast. And, you know, just keep educating yourself. Keep understanding and trying to understand where we're going and how you can prepare for the destination when we get there. Anyway, let's just keep the silver train rolling. If you got to go outside, wear a mask. I say it in every video. It's not just about you. It's about others as well. And let's just continue to do what we do. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Keep stacking. Peace.